Good evening, everybody, and welcome to the somewhat erroneously called Club Preview here at Club at 22, the Rangers podcast, where we're here this evening to kind of dissect the result in Braga last night a wee bit more, talk a wee bit about some Rangers news, and then finally wrap up with the St Mirren game on Sunday at 12 o'clock. I'll be your host this evening, Scott Gemmell. I'm joined with all the lads again, sans Tommy, but first up is Mr. Alistair Pearson.
How we doing, Scotia? I'd usually say I'm looking forward to watching Rangers at the weekend, but I'm actually going to the game on Sunday, but I really don't want to be going, to be honest, but I'll be there on Sunday at 12 o'clock. Can't wait.
Glad to hear it. Will that be your first away game?
I don't know, actually. Probably is, actually. In Premiership.
Right.
I don't go to the away games, as you know, but
yeah, we'll get to that when we come and talk about St Mirren. Next up, we've got Ryan Hamers. How's things, Ryan?
Aye, all good. Ali's made a rookie mistake there. I managed to block the ticket centre on my emails so that I didn't get a ticket for Sunday, and I managed to free up my time. So unlucky, Ali. You'll need to just try and enjoy yourself on Sunday. But yes,
I was offered the ticket, Ryan, and I stupidly went yes.
How push were you?
I was sober as well.
Well, you enjoy yourself, mate. I'll chill out and watch it on Sunday and try and relax. But yes, it's just like everybody else, gentlemen. I'm glad it's a weekend.
Indeed, it's a lovely evening. Indeed, and then finally we're joined by Scott Carney. How are things this evening, Scott?
Yes, all good, mate. I loved the fact that Ali tried to get a wee bit of staunch points, mate, by saying that he was going to an away game, and you immediately went, "Was that your first one ever?" It's just like, without bringing it back a wee bit back down there. No, I am good, mate. A few things before we do get into things. Sorry, Scott. I just have to thank Ross C for the 3 coffees that he bought us today. I don't know if you watched last night's pod, mate, but if you did, then I'm sorry. I blame Rangers for that. As it wasn't our finest hour, that is for sure. But I really do appreciate it. And again, sorry for everybody that's in the comments last night. I was really tired last night, and I've been really busy at work. I've just not had a chance to get round to it. It's going to happen from time to time, so I am sorry that I wasn't as involved in the comments. But looking forward to this. Like Alistair, not sure how I feel about Sunday just yet.
Yes, indeed. So yeah, obviously we're also live on YouTube, so I can see some of the comments coming in. So Carney will be in control again. There's wee Tommy popping up there. Good evening, Tommy. Yes, so we'll get through some of the comments and maybe have a discussion if you bring up some decent points. Because there's it's not going to be fun. It's this kind of week's turned into a bit of a disaster in terms of not being upbeat podcast, but we'll try to do our best. So we'll start off obviously with the result in the Braga 1 Rangers 0 last night in the Estadio Municipal de Braga. We had a goal from Abel Ruiz in the 40th minute, which was enough to give what on paper is a slender lead going into the return game in Ibrox on Thursday next week. I don't want to discuss the game overly much because all 4 of us were on the game on the post-match podcast last night, and I think we covered it pretty well, and certainly my feelings about it haven't really changed anymore since watching the highlights back. But obviously we lined up with McGregor, Tav, Goldson, Balogun, Bassey, Jack, Lundstrom, Kamara, Arfield, Kent and Sakala. And as I say, we had that the one goal from Abel Ruiz in the 40th minute that took them through, or not through, sorry, but through to Ibrox with that advantage. Did note that all the other games last night were all sitting at 1 each. I sat and watched a wee bit of the Atalanta-Leipzig game before our game, and if we managed to get through, I'm worried, to say the least. And I don't know if you've caught it. Did any of you catch this, that West Ham were up in the attack against Leon, and one of their fans...
I've never seen it.
One of their fans ran onto the pitch and stopped the play, and I think it was a rare attack for West Ham as well. I would be fuming if that happened.
Yeah, again, it doesn't matter if we did it anyway at Ibrox, because we'd know we wouldn't score anyway, so...
Probably true there, mate. Probably true, yeah. As I say, I'm not going to go in through the game too much myself. Use can if you want, but I think the big thing to take away from the games last night and the interviews afterwards was Gio's comments. So I watched the RTV press conference with him and Jack, and he was talking about the defeat. It's a slim margin at 1-0, which I think we can all agree. But for me, it's 1-0 on paper. We need to actually go out and show something to benefit in going through. He did concede that the final third wasn't great at points in terms of, that final effort on goal. And Jack, obviously, I thought this was a bit of a surprise that Jack was brought out, because Ryan, you did bring it up when he was getting subbed off that he had a wee bit of a stromp, but he kind of said in that interview that it was out of frustration. He'd been 1-0 down. Take from that what you will, but I found it surprising that both of them were out for that. But obviously the big one for me here is the comments that he made immediately to BT Sport afterwards. Obviously we didn't see it because we were sitting recording, but he said that Ramsey was not brought on because he wasn't injured, but we have a big squad. Thoughts, Ryan?
Shocked. I can't remember, this is how bad my memory is, but I think that news came over when we had just stopped recording last night. Yeah. And we all kind of had our say on it. I'm in the Gio camp. I'm trying to defend him at times, and he needs to get his own team, he needs to be given time, and he's not doing us any favours, Scotia. That was, for me, a strange comment to make, because it was a loaded question, and he needs to be a bit more clever than that. Even if he was fully fit, he's got to say, we went with the team we thought was best, Ramsey's feeling fit for the week. He's got to answer that a bit cuter. Aaron Ramsey should have been playing. If he's fit, I can't remember, it was one of you boys said last night, that's why we brought him to this club, to play in the big games, to play against Celtic as he did on Sunday, to play in a quarter-final in Europe, not to sit on the bench the full game. He's a very, very good player. I still don't think he's up to speed. I thought on Sunday that he's got some lovely touches and he moves about the pitch well, but he's still not, you can see he's still not up to full speed. But he's a better option, Scott Arfield, in that position, surely. I think Gio's not doing us any favours, and again, not for the first time, it looks as if there's a lack of trust between him and the players at the moment, and that is deeply concerning.
Yeah, it's not ideal. I mean, I'm the same as you there in terms of I really want Gio to do well and succeed, but this week, with some of the stuff that's going on and just listening to other people's thoughts and opinions of it, my mind's ever so slowly changing, if I'm being honest. Carney, what did you make of the comments on Ramsey? I agree with Ryan there that he is probably fit, but he's definitely not match fit, and it was probably about 6 games ago that we said Ramsey needs to start playing so that he's match fit, and we're running out of games now. Your thoughts?
Where to start, mate? I know we've done a lot of negative podcasts, I'm very aware of this, but last night everything that Giovanni Van Bronckhorst said after the match just confused me, and it worried me a great deal. If you're coming out and saying that Aaron Ramsey is fit, you play him. Why have you got him here? What is the point in him being here if he's not going to play in the quarter-final of the away leg? Why are you not going to play him and stick with Scott Arfield, who had very, very little effect on the game? I don't know if it's meant the way he said it. Obviously, he's pretty fluent in English, but it's definitely got me concerned, and I can't really make much sense of it. He also made a comment that we created some good chances. No, we didn't. We just didn't. We had one that I can think of, and it was Sakala's, and it wasn't on target. That's not enough. It's nowhere near enough. So I don't know if, as well as the players, Gio's hit the default button and is just this. We'll just keep saying the same thing over and over again and hope that something changes. But the comments last night were not great, and as harsh as it sounds, and I don't want that to happen because I do think he deserves time to try and implement his own players onto the team. But if you continue with comments like that, if you continue with decisions like that, and say things to us as fans that we are just meant to accept and believe when we can see things with our own eyes, and pretty much everybody is in the same of opinion now. Last night's not a terrible result, but the performance is so worrying because of this downward spiral that we seem to be on right now. So if he continues to say that kind of stuff, I'm sorry, he will not survive. He just will not survive because we just won't put up with it, because I don't think we should. We don't deserve to put up with it. So yes, that's my my wee rant at the comments over. But if Aaron Ramsey is fit, you play him. It's as simple as that.
Yeah, I mean, Pearson, in his post-match interview last night, the comments that get made when I watched it back this morning weren't overly bad. You know, he wasn't saying anything that wasn't not true, really. But it was maybe his comments today in the interview. There was no press match conference for the game on Sunday today, obviously, because we'd probably get in a wee bit too late. But his comments in the interview in RTV today about, his, like Carney said there, we played really well and we created some pretty good chances, just seemed strange to me.
It was worrying today. Carney asked me the question the other week, do I think Gio's the man to take us forward? And I said, you need to give him the summer, but deep down, I don't think he is, because he's worried me too many times this season with decisions. And again, that's another red flag for me. Watching that this morning, if he thinks that's a decent performance and we created chances, stats don't lie, Scotia. How many shots on target did we have last night? 0. That's not good enough. Against, let's be honest about it, Braga's a half decent team, but they're not that brilliant, Braga. And it just worries me. His team selection at times worries me. His substitutions worry me. And this isn't just on last night. This is going back to previous games as well. So, yeah, as I said to Carney a couple of weeks ago, and I don't like saying it because I want to back him and I hope he proves me wrong, but I just don't think he's the guy to lead us forward. I really don't. And I'm sorry to say that, but that's how I feel at the moment, because he just doesn't convince me at the moment, Van Bronckhorst. He really doesn't.
No, yeah, I get where you're coming from. I'm somewhat perhaps overly optimistic at times when it comes to Rangers things, and but like I said, it's slowly creeping the other way, if I'm being completely honest. Yeah, like I said, we're not going to dig into this game too much because I thought we covered it pretty well last night, so you can go back to listen to that if you haven't already. And also, I think just taking out all the guys' comments, we're all kind of still in the same boat as we were last night. So let's get on to some other sort of wee Rangers things and bits of news. And something that happened yesterday that was quite fun was the semi-final tickets arrived for the game against Celtic next Sunday, which glad to see that come through. My wee worry with this, really, my wee gripe, is that there was no pre-notification that the ticket sales window would be open when it was. It was the email that came through on the morning, sales window's now open, go and buy your ticket. For me, I'd been out all day in the drink the day before because it was the Scotland game. So when I woke up,
That is your own fault. That is hardly Rangers' fault that you were out in the piss.
No, but I was obviously slept in, and by the time I got on to log in, it was only the West Stand that was available. But what I was thinking is, like, for folk that are on the night shift, that'll hit them there as well. Folk that are maybe working. So, yeah, but the tickets came along, so I do not get the greatest seat in the world, if I'm being honest, because Hampden isn't great if you're behind the goals. But it's not as bad as it could have been. You guys happy with who you's got? Let's go to you first, Carney.
I wasn't on the last the day before, mate, so I've got perfectly good seats.
My own fault, really. I should have kind of known that Rangers would pop that on me. So, yeah, you happy with your seat?
Yeah, mate. No, I'm very much so happy with my seat. It's a hit or a miss for Hampden. You never really know. The last one we were at, it wasn't ideal. I think I was about, like row N or O or something like that. But I'm a wee bit further up now, about 30 rows or so back. So it's good enough for me. But I don't like Hampden, but I still constantly go anytime that we are there. So I'm not too bothered, and it looks like I'll be dragging Mr. Pearson up to stand next to me because he's down by the dugout, I think. Or maybe he'll be in line with the linesman's knees, maybe.
Ali, do you want to divulge where you're sat, or are you happy with your seats in general?
I'm exact same section as Carney, but I'm like 5 rows from the front or something. But doesn't matter where you sit in Hampden, to be honest. It's garbage. Every seat in Hampden's garbage. I chose the South Stand because I thought I might get South Stand upper, because you've got a chance of seeing something for up there, to be honest. So it doesn't matter where you are. The thing that annoys me about it, and this is a thing to do with Rangers, is I tick the CC's box for a reason. I don't need to do anything. Get a ticket and Rangers send it out. But for some God-known thing this season, we need to go on and piss about on a website that's absolutely crap, let's be honest about it, and try and get tickets. And your excuse, Scotia, which wasn't a very good excuse, but
it's a shocker.
It's a shocker. But at the same time, even if you were out in the pitch and the CCs worked how they have previously, you wouldn't have had to worry about that because you would have got a ticket. We obviously tick the friends and family. We always sit beside each other. That is what annoys me with Rangers. I don't know why that has changed when it comes to Hampden at the moment, why we need to go on and muck about when we tick a box for the very reason that take our money out of the account, Rangers, and just send the ticket to us and we don't need to do anything about it. So that's what annoys me. But like Carney, don't like the place, don't like getting there, don't like getting out of it, but we'll be there at the end of the day. I've got a horrific record at Hampden. Rangers have an horrific record from Hampden. The last one was probably the Barry Mackay goal, but since then it has been woeful at Hampden. So the laws of averages, as I say to Carney all the time, and I've said about this one, it is due to change. But even at this point, I'm looking at Rangers going, I just can't see it. But happy enough. I'll be there anyway, so that's the main thing.
Yeah, indeed. And Ryan, I think out of all of us, you've got the plum tickets here, really, because it's the only area of Hampden that I think is any good to be in, where you're at. Looking forward to where you're sitting.
Aye, I'd agree. I think, well, I don't mind the South Stand if you're up on that tier. I actually got a ticket for that. It was the semi-final when we played Hearts and we actually won. Morelos and Hollander, I think it was that scored.
Yeah.
I was up there and that was actually quite a good seat, to be fair. But yeah, I'm in the North Stand again, and I picked the North Stand because it's a decent view. I hate being behind the goal, so yeah, I'm in the North Stand. Thankfully, I've been in the North Stand before against them, and I was right at the segregation, and we didn't win. So I was a bit panicking that I was going to be at the segregation again this time, but you've confirmed to me I'm a couple of sections down, which is good. It doesn't really matter where you sit or stand next Sunday. If you win, that's all that matters. But I'm pretty sure there is not enough alcohol in this country to get in my body for me to be able to cope with what's coming on Sunday.
Yeah, it's turned into one of these ones where I initially was looking really forward to it, and now just as games go by, it's like, oh no, kind of dreading it back to the days when we were getting absolutely horsed off of Celtic under Caixinha and the likes. Yeah. So tickets are out, so if you've been lucky enough to go along, you may potentially see one of us floating about, but we'll look forward to that. So let's get into a wee bit more Rangers news, and something that I wanted to talk about, because I knew this was coming up before the news got announced earlier in the week, because the Hawkeye company that does all the tennis and stuff had a recruitment position out for a Scottish based video replay operator, which to me was saying, all right, they're getting ready to bring VAR in, and it's been confirmed that there'll be a vote set in Scotland on the 19th of April to see if VAR will be introduced to the Scottish Premiership which strange timing for me, this one, after the World Cup in 2022 there. So it'll be in December time it comes in, which initially for me is ridiculous, because you're playing half the season, or a wee bit of the season, with no VAR, and then the rest of the season with some VAR. Seems a bit strange to me. And then the wee thing here, I mean, I think we all know where we stand with VAR here. I think we've all made our opinions pretty clear over the last months and so, because, right, we have been poor this season, but I think we would have definitely benefited from VAR in some games. So I'm really looking forward to it to be introduced. I don't know if any of you guys know the details, but this is another sticking point for me, is the way the vote's structured for this. We need to have 75% of the Premiership clubs wanting it, which I know Celtic, Hibs and themselves have definitely come out and said we want it. I think there's a few more in there as well. You also need 75% of the Championship clubs to agree to it, which I get up to a point, because some of them will ultimately come into the Premiership through promotion, etc. But the really strange one is the 75% of League One and League Two clubs. My question to you, Ali, is why? Why are they being allowed to vote on this if it's only introduced in the SPF, in the Premiership?
Doesn't shock me. Why are we even voting for it for a start off? It should just put in. There's no point. What's the vote for? I mean, is your dad's football team in Helensware, they've been asked to vote on it as well, Scotia?
You never know. I'll need to ask them. They might have been done now.
Honestly, it's a farce. And like you say, Scotia, as well, why is it getting introduced halfway through a season as well? I mean, you couldn't make it up in Scottish football, could you? To me, I know Ryan's kind of sat in the fence with VAR. We've benefited from VAR in Europe. We've had one decision against us, which was the Dortmund one, which we should have won that game. But we've benefited quite a bit in Europe this season with VAR. Yeah, I think it needs to come in. I agree with you, Scotia. It would benefit us in the Premiership this season as well. But I don't know why it needs to go to a vote. I really don't. I think it should be introduced, and that's the end of it. And letting these clubs in League One and League Two vote on it, they're never getting it. It's a joke. It's an absolute joke. But I'm not surprised. So let it batter on and see what happens. Like you say, is it next week the vote is? So we'll see what happens.
And Monday, I think it's the day after the semi. Yeah. Yeah, Ryan, no surprise here. Call this what it is. It's vote rigging, really.
Well, what else? Voting always goes well in Scotland, not just in sporting terms, political as well. So let's not get into that. But
God's sake, don't get
comments will go mental.
We are live tonight, mate. That could go definitely wrong.
I know. But if you know what to comment in the comments, just put your yes or no anyway. I think it gives me the fear, Scotia. Ali's right. I'm on the fence. I've swung towards VAR more because of European decisions this season, because they really have benefited us, and not just because they benefited us, because the right decision's been made, because the referees missed it. So yeah, it has swung me a bit, but I still have this horrible image in my head that we are going to be left in Scotland with this Aldi version of VAR, where there's some sort of assistant referee standing at the side of the touchline Dingwall with a Tesco iPad while the referee tries to watch a replay, and Willie Collum runs up into a box and grabs his headset and says no penalty. It's just not going to be what you see in Europe. It's not going to be that what we're seeing, what we want. So it gives me the fear that's the way it's going to swing, and it's just going to be probably a laughing stock in Scotland. If they can get it watertight and the way you want it, then yeah, let's go for it. But in terms of the voting, I'll laugh whatever happens. It's always a scandal in Scotland, isn't it? No matter what they do with the voting.
Yeah, I mean, spamming boxes and everything like that. Yeah, Ryan, like you say there, one of the options that was being discussed was you'd have them in a wee van outside the stadium in there, and then obviously someone pitch side as well. But I think one of the stumbling blocks a month or two back was that what they were going to do was have like a central location where all the games would get streamed to and all the decisions would be made in there, which upped the price quite a bit, I think. And that sent clubs a wee bit wary. But Carney, your thoughts on this and the voting, the laughable voting proposals?
Laughable is the correct word, mate. It is just laughable. I don't understand it. I don't understand why the clubs are just continuing to put up with it. I mean, they all need to rally together. And like Ali says, I'm not like fully for VAR, but it has to happen because the standard of refereeing in this country is shockingly bad, and it's really holding the game back. I don't understand why it has to be a vote. It shouldn't be a vote. So I will 100% agree with Ali there. And as Ryan said, it is going to be a wee guy at the side of the park going, well, I've got a perfectly two Grundig here, so I don't need your super duper cameras to get this done. It's not going to work. The reason it's going to be straight after the World Cup, mate, is because we're going to get all used equipment and it's going to be cheaper, and all the stuff that you would like to think the SPFL will do to cut corners, they will do. I don't believe they want it because they don't want to pay for it. I don't know how they're going to structure the way it's going to be paid. As I said, when we mentioned this before, it was this or Rangers and Celtic should pay for it. No, we shouldn't. Why should Rangers and Celtic pay for this? It's just it's an absolute joke. We've said for it, and it's a deeper issue, mate, because the association in this country has been underselling the game up here for years and years and years, and this is the accumulation of it all, that we don't actually have enough to keep up with modern football. We don't even have full-time referees in this country. I mean, it is absolutely shocking. It really is. So it probably won't get passed through now. We're probably going to need to live in the dark ages. We're still going to need to deal with Willie Collum when he's 116 years old refereeing games, only part-time. I'm not surprised, as it like Ali as well. I am not surprised that the SPFL are doing their best to make sure that this doesn't get passed through. It's a farce. I hope the clubs decide to do the right thing, because we need anything we can to improve the officiating in this country. So, but time will tell, mate.
Yeah, so we've got that wee vote to look forward to, and like I say, I can understand all the Premiership clubs getting asked. Yes, I can understand to an extent the Championship clubs getting asked, but maybe not at 75% of the vote because the teams down the bottom half of that. Well, funny you say that, Fingal. Finfogella was it? Sorry, yeah. Funny you say that. Neil Doncaster was the next talking point I was going to come on to because he's come out in the press this week to kind of, in a roundabout way, confirm that the live streaming of home games in Scotland at 3 o'clock on a Saturday afternoon to be broadcast to Scotland and Ireland and Irish and Welsh TV viewers looks like it's going to come to an end. And that's for me a bit of a blow because I think that certainly the Rangers have invested an awful lot more money into RTV over the past few seasons with this on, and it's a massive help for people that can't get along to the game. We've got Tommy, who you all met on Tuesday there. He's on the season ticket waiting list at the moment, so if he can't see a game if it's not getting streamed through RTV, I think this is a bit disappointing. Ryan, you not think?
Aye, it is. It's not ideal, is it? It's how long's Tommy been on the waiting list? Do you know?
Add in the comments. Is it just a year?
Yeah, I
Beginning
think.
of the season, yeah.
Yeah.
Aye, it's not ideal, but anything to do with the ticket office, I'm trying not to be too negative in this podcast. How do I turn this into a positive here? It's a challenge, and it's a challenge that you need to take on board, and fans are just frustrated all the time with the ticket office. There's nothing really runs smoothly with it. I think the last person I know that was sitting on the waiting list was there for two years and got offered one. What I would suggest to Tommy is I've not spoken to Tommy personally, but what I would suggest to anybody that's on the season ticket waiting list, if you do get the email, I would go into the ticket office because you can literally stand and they can show you all the available seats and you can pick where you want to sit. So that's just a wee kind of insight into how I got my season ticket with my dad down at the Govan front. So, but yeah, it's not ideal, and as we already know, like anything Rangers do with the ticket centre is amateur. It's amateur Scotia. Let's not get away from it. It really is. It's poor because it's 2022 and it's all about the customer. People saying it never ever feels like that with Rangers, unfortunately.
Yeah, indeed. To turn that into a slight positive, Ryan, the streaming ending isn't anything to do with Rangers, so they've got that in their back pocket that they can use. This is all the SFA and the UEFA Article 48 rule coming into place. And to be honest, it's for Rangers, like I say, us personally, it's not going to be an issue, Carney, because we go to the games all the time. But there are Rangers fans that, for whatever reason, can't afford a season ticket, or like Tommy, they're on the waiting list. Perhaps they've got other commitments that day that they could maybe still watch the game in the house, but they couldn't get along to the match. It seems disappointing for me.
It is, and again though, I'm just sound like Alistair. Just call me Ali. Am I surprised at this? No, I'm not surprised at it because they have to do everything they can to try and claw some money back into the game because they're not doing enough, they're not doing their job, and Doncaster has to somehow justify his ludicrous wage that he's on for not doing his job. He really isn't. I mean, we outsourced. We had to get a marketing company in to get us a sponsor for the league. What is that about? Like, I mean, it is how you can't sell this league is just absolutely it's beyond me. On a completely unrelated issue, the club sponsor is somebody called NordVPN. I mean, maybe apparently they're really good. I'd say it's not really related to anything that we're speaking about, but maybe have a look at that if you find yourself in the need to be in another country for a while. That's all I'll say on that.
Yes, the VPNs are always very useful for more things than football, to be honest. So yeah. That Pearson, I mean, not even Rangers here. I think all the clubs throughout the Scottish kind of top divisions have invested in TV streaming services to do this, and there'll be fans that live miles and miles away from, if they support a team in the League Two, they might live miles and miles away due to work. That they were making good use of this. It just seems that once again, Scottish football fans are getting slapped in the face here.
Yeah, it's disappointing. I mean, during COVID times, we had to unfortunately watch some of these football team streams, which were interesting at times, to be honest. I think we get Livingston, and I think St Mirren was on as well, actually.
St Johnstone we got a few times.
St Johnstone was one. So there was a guy gets sacked or something because he said something ridiculous in one.
Yes.
I don't want to say what he said because it was quite rude, but he gets sacked for it. But yeah, it's not good. Obviously, it doesn't affect us guys, but for the guys that obviously can't make it, it's a shame. But as Carney said, there's ways around it.
Yeah, it's disappointing. What I would say, obviously, for everyone
nice
listening.
And subtle, mate. Nice and subtle. That's what I like to see.
Yeah, what I would say to folk listening that aren't within the UK, it won't affect you at all. Even if you are wanting to, if you are in the UK, like Carney says, there are VPN services, and in particular NordVPN, that maybe have a wee look into if MEs can't get along to the games. So that's kind of everything Rangers news-wise. I think there was nothing else that I really seen. Obviously, Alex Lowry got his injury, but I think we discussed that last night, Carney, and we'll potentially come on to discuss this a wee bit more in this section where we look forward to the St Mirren game, which will be at 12 o'clock on Sunday. Absolutely great. And it's quite interesting. St Mirren are sitting 10th in the league at the moment, 6 points above St Johnstone. But they are still in with a chance of finishing in the top 6 should results go their way and should they get a result against us. So on that, the top 6, I wanted to have a wee discussion about and see who we would like to get and the sort of possible permutations. Obviously Celtic, ourselves and Hearts are all confirmed in the top 6, but it's all to play for everyone between 4th and 10th really. You've got Aberdeen v Ross County tomorrow, Celtic v St Johnstone, Dundee United v Dundee, Hearts v Hibs and Livy v Motherwell. So apart from Dundee and St Johnstone, all of those teams in there could potentially finish in the top 6. Looking at those results, I fully expect Dundee United to beat Dundee and confirm their place in the top 6. Livy and Motherwell, I think Livy will do enough. Motherwell will do enough to get in there as well. And then Aberdeen and Ross County, I don't know how that's going to go. So I've got a sort of top 5 at the minute: Celtic, Rangers, Hearts, Dundee United and Motherwell, and then any one of Ross County, Livy, Aberdeen or Hibs. What are your thoughts on this, Pearson? Anyone you particularly want or don't want?
Doesn't really matter, to be honest, does it? Let's be honest about it. Does it really matter who's in the top 6? No, really. Looking at the fixtures at the weekend, I mean, the Sheep are dire. They really are dire. But I can see the Sheep beating Ross County. Like you say, Dundee United, I think, will beat Dundee. Hearts, Hibs, I can see that being a draw. They're usually a draw. And Livy at home to Motherwell. Yeah. So I can kind of see your scenario, Scotia. I think that'll be it. But I don't think it really matters, if I'm being blatantly honest. I mean, the other side of the city play obviously St Johnstone on Saturday, so they'll go 9 points clear of us before we kick a ball on Sunday, and we'll see what the reaction for the Rangers team. None of us sitting here are confident in Rangers going to St Mirren on Sunday, regardless of what Celtic do on Saturday. Even if St Johnstone somehow pulled off a miracle and beat them, we'd go and make an arse on Sunday, guaranteed. So I'll be honest, Scotia, I don't think it really matters who's in the top 6, because we're not going to win all our games in the season regardless of us in there. So it is what it is.
Yeah, I mean, Curry Muncher makes a point there. He says, who do we think is best for Rangers to get in the top 6 so that they hinder Celtic? Now, I think, like we've all said, we're all kind of conceding the league, really, but it is still mathematically possible. So out of the teams in there, who are you leaning towards to kind of be a harder tie for Celtic?
None, mate. I'm going to be brutally honest. None, literally none. I'm not liking how much I'm agreeing with Alistair, man. Honestly, it's really beginning to bother me. It's irrelevant just now because there isn't, in my opinion, there isn't a title race anymore. We handed that away. However, I'm going to see if you've done your homework here, Scotia, because is there not something about us having to play a team maybe once more than we should have, two teams once more than they should have at home, based on the way that it's going to be split up if results go a certain way. Does that make sense?
Yeah, so basically, so the Celtic game's away, the Hearts game will be away. If Motherwell make it, that'll be away. If Dundee United make it, we'll be at home. If Ross County make it, we'd be at home. Livy, Aberdeen and Hibs, if they make it, they would all be away. So I think what would happen, see if we...
They can't
because
do that,
we've only... No, so one team would end up having to play us one time less away because we've already played them. So we'd have 3 home games, which is
and again,
ideal.
This all ties back to we've spoken about the past couple of topics. We're talking about the SPFL making a complete mess of their job. This split should not be a thing. I mean, it's ridiculous. I think we all agree on that the split's just an absolute joke. I can't really understand what it adds to the game. I don't think it really adds anything. I don't think it makes things more fair or less fair or anything really about it. And it's just it's a dinosaur of a thing that we tried to do to make the league more interesting, and it didn't work. So I would scrap it absolutely altogether. But in terms of we need a miracle. We need Celtic to seriously implode, and for a lot of teams to really go to battle. But as you say, as it stands now, mate, nobody can really make third. Or the Hearts are going to finish third, so there's not even that to fight for. What do you get if you finish fourth? Anything?
Do you not get the conference?
Do you get the conference? So potentially something in that. There could be 3 teams really fighting out to get fourth, which might aid Rangers when they play Celtic, but it could also hinder us when they play us because they'll be going for it. And our defence, as we've mentioned, is very shaky, put under even a slight bit of pressure. So right now it doesn't really matter, mate. It doesn't really bother me. I mean, if they drop points this weekend and they win, then ask me that question again, mate, and I might have changed my tune. But as of right now, it doesn't really matter, mate.
Yeah, no. Ryan, have you got any preferences, or you like the guys there, just take whoever?
I know it's not what folk want to hear, but I'm just absolutely scunnered. Like, I'm absolutely scunnered with the league. It's just still there with me from Sunday, and I'll really struggle to watch the game on Sunday. I really will. I hope Aberdeen are in the top 6. The lower down they are, the better. And I mean, in all forms of life, get them down wherever they are, because that's where they deserve to be. And yes, I don't think anything can benefit Rangers if we're. I know I'm on this podcast to give opinion. I don't think anything can benefit this league anymore. I don't think we can look and think, Hearts might take points off Celtic at Tynecastle, and if we've got home to, I don't know, Ross County or whatever, we could get that. I think that's really beyond clutching at straws now, Scotia. I think we can let that one go, unfortunately. But yeah, as long as Aberdeen are in the bottom 6, I'll be happy.
I've seen Stephen with a wee question here about do teams still try to finish 6th before the split. Yes, they do. I was listening to the St Mirren manager's, whose name escapes me right now, press conference earlier today, and he was very much up for it, because if the results go Aberdeen and Ross County draw and Livingston and Motherwell draw, a Hearts win and a Dundee United win, it means that if St Mirren beat us on Sunday, they could finish in the top 6, I think. So when I was listening to that interview, he was definitely wanting St Mirren to finish up in 6th if they could. So yeah, they do.
Do you know, sorry to jump in. Apologies there. Do you know it's always kind of, just because we're talking about this split and stuff, it's not something you talk about often in a Rangers podcast or be your pals, but see if you finish 7th and you've got, say, 39 points, and the team who finished 6th finish with 32 points, do you still finish 7th and get the 7th place prize money?
Yeah.
Yes.
You know, if it's after the split and your points are lower than the 7th place, you still get the 7th place prize money.
Yeah, it's not a great one, because
exactly, mate. That's what I'm saying. It makes no sense at all. So I know exactly what you're saying, mate. If you go down, but if you finish 7th by a point, the team in 6th win none of their games, and you win 4 games, you end up with more points at them. It's irrelevant. You finish 7th.
I'm sure as all firm fans, you don't think of stuff like that, or Rangers fans, you don't think of stuff like that. But it must be so frustrating for other clubs. Like, they must be like, we've had a better season than you, but you've finished with less points and we've got more points. I don't know. It's bizarre. Bizarre.
Yeah, I mean, the split in general has always annoyed me, in particular if you've got a tight title race and one of the Old Firm teams is going to have 3 home games and 2 away and the others the reverse. That's always annoyed me, although sometimes Rangers playing away at home's probably a bit of a hindrance, if we're being honest, based on recent results. Just a quick one on St Mirren. I also noted that Jack Alnwick's going to be out for them. Also Scott Tanser, Greg Kiltie and Ryan Flynn as well, but you've obviously got that Connor Ronan boy who's he's been looked pretty good in some of the highlights that I've seen, and I think he's been playing well for them. I think he's up on loan from Wolves at the moment. But sorry, on the Rangers front, Gio had come out in his re-interview with RTV today to say no major concerns from injury, but Kenny, my main question that I want to ask all you guys, and you can throw in your kind of thoughts on the St Mirren game as well, is really what are you wanting from Rangers for the rest of the season, and in particular on Carney laughing away there. Right, Carney. No, I mean in terms of that, I mean, like, how should Gio start approaching games? I mean, obviously this week's still massive, but if you get any inclination on how you want Gio to start doing things, given that we've all kind of conceded the league?
What a question, mate. Honestly, what a question. Where to start with that? There's a lot of talk just now of people thinking, oh, we only need 3 points on Sunday. The performance doesn't matter. Again, I can see both sides of that argument right now. In all honesty, I don't know. I don't know if he will decide to chuck the league. We're in a very difficult place right now. I know the league's not mathematically over, but to me it is. I think we're all pretty much in agreement that the league is over. How he's going to start approaching things, my God, Scott, I don't honestly know the answer to that, because based on his comments as well after last night's match and today, I have got no idea what his thinking is right now, and I'm intrigued to see what decision he makes on Sunday and who to play. If he plays a certain Welsh person that has had a lot of caps for his country and decides to start with him, I'm going to be left angry and very frustrated, because I can't figure out the thinking or the thought process behind all this. It's all a bit bizarre. Look, I want Rangers to finish the league without losing a game. I want Rangers to win the Scottish Cup, and I want Rangers to at least get to the semi-final of the Europa League. And as Rangers fans, I don't think we are wrong in expecting that from our team. However, I don't think the team believe in themselves to do that. I don't think they've got the belief in themselves to go and do that. But I mean, if I was going to have the perfect scenario, mate, it would be that. You play your strongest team at all points and you put teams to bed. You start showing a wee bit of belief in yourself and actually convincingly beat teams instead of scraping through. But Sunday, noon, at St Mirren, I would be a hypocrite if I was going to sit here and say that I'm feeling rather chipper about it.
I mean, Ryan, this is kind of an age-old question that always get asked once we kind of know that the league's kind of done. I'm not saying that's the case right now, and it's maybe a wee bit early to look at that for St Mirren, but is one of these ones where do you start bringing in youth an awful lot more? I mean, how do you think we'll approach it?
I don't think he's at that stage yet. I think he would look as if I don't think Van Bronckhorst can start just bringing youth in and looking as if he's given up. He needs to show that he's not giving up this league and go for it in all fronts as well. I would like to see Lowry, because he's been a positive, one of the few positives this season. I'll throw Bassey in there as well. But I'd like to see more of Lowry from now to end of the season. I don't think we will. For some reason, I think Gio doesn't fancy him, or I don't know what's happening there. It's a strange one. But yeah, I'd like to see Lowry, and I'll answer the question you asked Carney. I'd like to see Rangers 18 points in the league from now to end of the season. I'd like to see us win the Scottish Cup, and I'd like to see us get to the final of Europa League. But I would also like to wake up with Jennifer Aniston tomorrow. It's been sorry everyone, it's been a bit of a gloomy podcast yet again.
I know.
Ali, what are your thoughts upcoming? Seen a couple of people put in the comments there about Tony Weston. He's been knocking them in for fun down in the B team and the under-18s. But if I'm being honest, it's probably a bit too much pressure to bring him in right now and expect it. But potentially a good chance to bleed him into the squad.
Yeah, I could see him being on the bench. I don't think he'll start. Lowry, I know he said he had a full team to pick from. Is Lowry's in that as well? I don't know. I know he didn't.
No, in fact, I was going to actually. That's a good one. Does anyone know what the extent of Lowry's injury or how long he's out for?
He didn't mention it.
Didn't mention it.
So I don't know if he'll be there, but same as Ryan, they need to start showing something. They need to show they care, Rangers. If I'm being blatantly honest, I think they've checked out. I think they wanted summer to come. But in the league, they need to win every game end of the season to show us something. And they need to win the Scottish Cup. Ryan's saying getting to the final of the Europa League. I would love that as well, but realistically, I can't see it. They need to win the Scottish Cup. And that isn't to save their season. That's to bring a slight bit of pride back to the club. Because the league's the be all and end all. Let's be honest about it. It is. Speak to Celtic fans as well, and they say the league's what they want. They're not interested in the Scottish Cup, League Cup, or whatever they were in the conference. So it's we need to win the Scottish Cup, but we need to start showing, like Ryan always says, desire, attitude. We need to start showing it because it just looks like a team that have checked out and they're just counting down the days to their holidays, and half of that team packing their bags and disappearing somewhere else. It's got the feel of that, and it's whimpering out. And as I said last night, Rangers have got 8-9 days to put a bit of pride back into their season, because if not, we could be sitting here or doing a post-match outside Hampden a week on Sunday where it could all have just went tits up. And I've got the utter fear, guys. I really do. And sorry to bring another negative into this podcast, but
The thing is, mate,
but I need to say what I feel. I feel.
No, I know you do, and see if that does come true, mate, on that Sunday. I'm sorry, that will be probably the worst podcast you'll ever hear from any of us. That will be a particularly tough one. Yeah, it's just fucking. I'm sick of this negative stuff, man. But we've got to be, as you say, because we wouldn't be worth our input if we were going to sit here and pretend that everything's fine when it's clearly not fine. We can all see that it's not fine. So, yeah, sorry for all the negativity, but it's just the way we all are right now.
And I always try to be optimistic, but like I say, it's slowly eroding away. Yeah,
So
slowly eroding away.
I try, and I'm just like, I can't do this anymore.
We could try the positive road. Let's try this, right? There's still a chance of a treble this season.
Right, yep.
No, there isn't.
I'm just trying the positive road.
You've got more chance of Jennifer Aniston actually showing up at your house tonight, mate, than you do of that happening. Look, I mean, if we win the Europa League, it would be a monumental achievement for Rangers, and it would certainly help ease the blow for the fact that we're probably not going to win the league. Based on last night's performance, it's hard to try and believe like that, and I don't think anybody could really disagree with that.
No, you're right. Pearson, if your prediction that you made there comes true, you'll become even more famous on Twitter, I would imagine. And no, Tommy, that's not happening. Fuck that. Yeah, so...
if we get put out of the Scottish Cup and get put out of Europe.
Yeah, you'll be... Oh, the Celtic fans...
Don't worry, I'll have a couple of jokes lined up for the Celtic fans. Don't worry, they can clip that.
Oh dear. But anyway, yes, we've got the St Mirren game on Sunday, the dreaded 12 o'clock, like I say. So, how are you feeling about it, Carney? Give me your thoughts, teams, and prediction of a score.
How are my thoughts about it, mate? It's hard to get yourself up for it. I think none of us are really feeling too great about it. We do try. I mean, you will try, but I think we'll all. Ali's going to be going to the game, so you will more of a buzz, Ali, about you. There's no doubt about it. Going to the game, I'll probably get up, sit and watch it on the couch, mate, and I'll just sit and wait for the game to kick off. If that makes any sense, it will just be right. Okay, the game will kick off, and obviously you get the wee bit of excitement around the team. But my team for this is what I think he will play, not what I would play. Okay, so this is what I think he will play. McGregor, Tavernier, Goldson, Hollander, Bassey, Jack, Lundstrom, Aaron Ramsey, Kent, Roof, and Sakala is what I think he will play on Sunday. There's a few changes I would make. I would probably start McLaughlin because it's about time, really, and I'm going to stick to my guns with McGregor. Not that he had really much to be blamed for the other night, but it's games like this where we can't have McGregor deciding to have one of those games that he's had recently. So I would definitely change that. And if in regards of youth players, if Lowry was fit 100%, I'd be playing him. But I can't see him. I agree with what Ryan said. I don't think he is quite there yet. I don't think that will happen. I don't think we'll see youth players just yet. So that's the team that I'm going to go for. I'm going to go for 2-1 to Rangers, and Davis is going to come on and score a winner because it might as well happen because absolutely nothing else is happening for this team right now. So Steve Davis for the winner.
Very good, very good. At least it's a win. That's what I will say. At least it's a win. It'll cheer us up slightly, I would hope. Ryan, your thoughts, your teams and prediction?
It's a difficult one. I think everyone's feeling the same. I know we're having a laugh and same on negative, but everyone in the comments will be feeling the exact same as us, Scotia. It's very hard to look forward to this game on Sunday because it was such a blow on Sunday, such a huge blow. And even I was in a bizarre position. You'd be probably the same yourselves, and I wasn't looking forward to the game yesterday. And that sounds so unstaunch, but I genuinely wasn't looking forward to it. And I went to my dad's, and as soon as I seen the players in the tunnel, I was like, right, Mon, this is Rangers in a quarter final here, and the butterflies started again. So I'll be the same this Sunday. I won't be bothered until actually Rangers the game kicks off, and then I'll be up for it. You're always up for Rangers playing. Once they kick off, you'll be right behind them, and everyone will be the same. So yeah, let's hope they get 3 points. Let's hope they get a performance and take it from there. And just that's all they can do, really. My team, I would like to see Gio and his management team doing something different because the hole that Alfredo Morelos has left is, I mean, it's embarrassing how the way we still try to play to that system as if Alfredo's still there, and we put Roof in there and we put Sakala. Nobody can fill Alfredo Morelos' shoes, so try something different up front. I don't know if that means you play Ryan Kent and Sakala up front as a 2, or you play Sakala and Roof as a 2. He needs to change it because that system does not work, and I would love to see him do it. I don't think he will. So my team is McGregor, Tav, Goldson, Hollander, Barisic, Kamara, Jack, Ramsey, and I think he'll play Kent, Sakala and Roof up front. I think Mr. Aribo will take a seat in the bench again. And I'll go 2-1 Rangers, Aaron Ramsey first goal.
2-1 as well. Yeah, Pearson, I'll let you wrap up with it once I've done my team so that you can give us all your thoughts about going to your first ever away game. So
coming for you, Scotia.
Yes, right. No, I'll go. My team is. I've kind of picked my team based on what I think he'll do for the game and what he needs to kind of keep in mind for the game on Thursday night. So going for McGregor in goals, backline of Tav, Goldson, Bassey and Barisic. I would have had Hollander in there, but I think I want to have Barisic getting a wee bit of game time in case anything happens to the defence on Thursday night, because obviously Hollander's not in the European squad. Midfield of Lundstrom, Ramsey and Aribo. And then Kent, Roof and Sakala up top. And I'm going a 3-1 Rangers with Ramsey first goal scorer. So we'll wrap up with you, Pearson, on your thoughts, teams, predictions.
I'm changing it quite a bit because to me the league's done. So I'm changing it. Thursday night's not the be all and end all, but that's the big game. I know you always say the league's a bigger game, but I'm sorry, to me the league's done. So I'm going McLaughlin in goal, Tav at right back, Goldson, Hollander will come back in. I think Barisic will come in at left back. You're going to, maybe a wee bit shocked here. I think Steve Davis will come back in, sit in midfield with Aaron Ramsey on the right side of him and Joe Rebo on the left side of him. And up top, it'll be Ryan Kent, Roof and Fashion Sakala. That is my team. And I'm going to go 1-0 Rangers. And it's going to be my man Joe Aribo, but it's going to be I just look at I just look at St Mirren's team. They've got a lot of ex-hammer throwers we've come up against. Alan Power for Kilmarnock. They've got a few ex-Rangers players. Jordan Jones is there. Brophy's there for Kilmarnock. He's haunted us before. There's a few players in that team that have haunted us in seasons before. So I think it's going to be a slog. I hope I'm wrong. I've seen one of the boys in the chat say the pressure's off Rangers in the league and they might win 3-0. That wouldn't surprise me either. But I honestly think it'll be a slog, and that's why you boys have picked 2-1 and I'm picking 1-0 Rangers. So I think it's going to be, to me, Thursday night's a bigger game, so that's what it is.
Yeah, you do realise. Yeah, you do realise as well, though, all the team that we've all picked, he will now play Scott Arfield again, and he'll play Kamara again. And do you know what I mean? It will be. I hope he doesn't. I really hope he does something to try and inject some life, some energy, some belief into this team.
Sorry, Carney. I would say, Scotia, I was going to say, not one of us there picked Ahmed Diallo, the £37 million player from Manchester United.
I was going to come to him because I was thinking about putting him in instead of Sakala, because what I was thinking is I've got the utter fear that if you play both Roof and Sakala and one of them gets injured, then you're really light up front. And like I was saying, I'm kind of half jokingly mentioned Tony Weston there. I think he's far too young at the moment to come in, but it would be good to see him sort of starting on the bench and things, because if you think about it, when was the last decent striker that we've had come through the youth ranks? Robert Fleck?
Andy Little.
Andy Little, I suppose,
ranks,
but I mean,
did he come to the ranks, Andy Little?
Well, he was in some of the youth teams. And I suppose with Little, most of his playing time was in the lower divisions, though, wasn't it?
The lower leagues, yeah.
Charlie Miller played up front for the game at Hampden, did he not, with Hateley? He can count as a striker.
Right, okay. Indeed, that's us just at about the hour mark, so I think that'll do us. So thank you everyone for listening this evening, and thanks also to my guests. First up, thank you, Ryan Haymarsh.
Thanks very much, mate. One of the positives, I think, is the amount of people that are in the comments. I've really enjoyed that. It's building a really good community there, boys, and it's good to see everybody getting involved and try to keep each other's spirits up, because it's tough just now. Ali, you enjoy the game on Sunday, mate. I would go for a bottle of Magnum Jamaican rum before I go into the game. Just to make sure
that's a Jamie Lowe special, that one, isn't it?
Yes, indeed it is, and it's a very good special. You'll be cross-eyed when you get in, so I would do that before I get in the stadium. Enjoy your weekend, guys. Thanks.
Cheers, and thank you, Alistair Pearson. As I say, enjoy your first ever away game.
Well, it isn't my first ever away game, Scotia. But no, I will enjoy it. If I don't know, I won't enjoy it. That's a lie. It's what it is. I'll be going there with Dan and Lee. So, I'm more looking forward to Thursday night, to be honest, lads. I know we'll talk about it first. I would say, Carney, we need to have another podcast in the Viceroy, because I need to drink to do this now, because Rangers are making me drink these days. So we need to get back to the Viceroy sharpish for one of them. But anyway, thanks anyway, Scotia, and I have a good weekend, lads.
And finally, thank you, Scott Carney.
Not a problem, mate. Thank you to everybody for getting involved in the comments. And I just want to say something about the comments. Sometimes I think when the team's playing like this and we're all quite down and the momentum seems to have gone, it can be, comments can be took the wrong way, and sometimes I think people might think that I've said something that's like I'm trying to kind of have an argument, and I'm really not trying to have an argument. It's okay for us to have different opinions on this right now, because everybody should have a different opinion on it. It doesn't mean that I'm right, and it certainly doesn't mean that you're wrong, and vice versa. So let's all stay together on this. As I say, I love the wee community that we have. I love that everybody comes in and gets involved in it. I really do. But we are all together, but it's okay for us to disagree, because it's what makes us Rangers fans. As I say, I know we tend to agree quite a lot. We're all quite similar. We don't all agree on everything. All the podders, we don't always all agree on things, but sometimes we're pretty different. So we are all together on this. So just don't ever take it the wrong way. Things are pretty tough just now because of the way the league has went. It is unfortunate that it's happened like that, but we certainly love your input. I love all the comments. I love everybody getting involved. So yeah, just had to get that off my chest. Thank you very much, Scotia and Ali. Enjoy your first ever away game.
It's
Honestly,
going to stick with you.
technically it's not. I went to Queen's Park in the banter years, so there you go.
We're not counting that, mate. We're not counting that one.
That counts. That's not away game.
Okay. Yeah, I was there with you actually, so aye, we will take
There
it.
you
Aye. Yes, no, yeah, as Carney says, put it well there. Thanks everyone, love the wee community. So if you could like, share, and subscribe this video to help us keep on growing, that would be much appreciated. Hope everyone enjoys our weekend, and let's hope Rangers get us the 3 points that we are all wanting. Good evening and good night.